October 27th, 1787. Hamilton. To the people of the state of New York. After an unequivocal experience of the inefficacy of the subsisting federal government, you are called upon to deliberate on a new Constitution for the United States of America. The subject speaks its own importance, comprehending in its consequences nothing less than the existence of the Union, the safety and welfare of the parts of which it is composed, the fate of an empire in many respects the most interesting in the world. It has been frequently remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country, by their conduct and example, to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend for their political constitutions on accident and force. If there be any truth in the remark, the crisis at which we are arrived may with propriety be regarded as the era in which that decision is to be made, and a wrong election of the part we shall act may, in this view, deserve to be considered as the general misfortune of mankind. This idea will add the inducements of philanthropy to those of patriotism, to heighten the solicitude which all considerate and good men must feel for the event. Happy will it be if our choice should be directed by a judicious estimate of our true interests, unperplexed and unbiased by considerations not connected with the public good. But this is a thing more ardently to be wished than seriously to be expected. The plan offered to our deliberations affects too many particular interests, innovates upon too many local institutions, not to involve in its discussion a variety of objects foreign to its merits, and of views, passions, and prejudices little favorable to the discovery.
Hey, what's up, Falconet? How you doing, man?
Among the most formidable of the obstacles which the new Constitution will have to encounter may readily be distinguished the obvious interest of a certain class of men in every state to resist all changes which may hazard a diminution of the power, emolument, and consequence of the offices they hold under the state establishment, and the perverted ambition of another class of men, who will either hope to aggrandize themselves by the confusions of their country, or will flatter themselves with fairer prospects of elevation from the subdivision of the empire into several partial confederacies than from its union under one government. It is not, however, my design to dwell upon observations of this nature. I am well aware that it would be disingenuous to resolve indiscriminately the opposition of any settlement merely because their situation is subject to suspicion.
I'm listening to the Federalist Papers right now, in celebration of Independence Day.
Just to admit that even
also
such
to
men may be
educate you Europeans
actuated by
on what a great
upright
country's all
intentions.
about.
And it cannot be doubted that much of the opposition which has made its appearance, or may hereafter make its appearance, will spring from sources blameless
Independence
at
Day
least,
here
if
in
not
America.
respectable. The honest
We're gonna
errors of
celebrate
minds
in
led
style.
astray by preconceived jealousies and fears. So numerous indeed, and so powerful are the causes which serve to give a false bias to the judgment, that we, upon many occasions, see wise and good men on the wrong as well as on the right
We're gonna have some
side
fun
of
today.
questions of the first magnitude to society. This circumstance, if duly attended to, would furnish a lesson of moderation to those who are ever so much persuaded of their being in the right in any controversy. And a further reason for caution in this respect might be drawn from the reflection that we are not always sure that those who advocate the truth are influenced by purer principles than their antagonists. Ambition, avarice, personal animosity, party opposition, and many other motives not more laudable than these, are apt to operate as well upon those who support as those who oppose the right side of a question. Were there not even these inducements to moderation, nothing could be more ill-judged than that intolerant spirit which has at all times characterized political parties. For in politics, as in religion, it is equally absurd to aim at making proselytes by fire and sword. Heresies and idol can rarely be cured by persecution.
Not enough minerals.
And yet, however just these sentiments will be allowed to be, we have already sufficient indications that it will happen in this, as in all former cases of great national
Additional
discussion.
supply depots
A
required.
torrent of angry and
Additional
malignant
supply
passions will
depots
be let
required.
loose. To judge from the conduct of the opposite
Not
parties,
enough minerals.
we shall be led to
Not
conclude
enough
that they will
minerals.
mutually hope to evince the justness of their opinions
Reporting for
and
action.
to increase the number of their
Not
converts
enough minerals.
by the loudness of their declamations and the bitterness of their invectives.
Full speed.
An enlightened zeal for the energy and efficiency of government will be stigmatized as the offspring of a temper fond of despotic power and hostile
Not
to the
enough
principles of
minerals.
liberty.
SCV ready.
An over-scrupulous jealousy of danger to the rights of the people,
Not
which is
enough
more commonly
minerals.
the fault of the head than of the heart,
Not enough
will be
minerals.
represented as mere
Not
pretense
enough
and
minerals.
artifice, the stale bait for popularity
Not
at
enough
the expense of
minerals.
the public good.
Not enough
It will
minerals.
be forgotten, on the one hand, that jealousy is the usual concomitant of love,
Give me this.
and that the noble enthusiasm of liberty
Liberation
is
is
apt to
at
be infected
hand.
with a spirit of narrow and illiberal distrust.
All hands to battle stations.
On the other hand, it will be
Base
equally
is under
forgotten
attack.
that the vigor of government is essential to the
Our
security of liberty,
SCVs are under attack.
and the contemplation of a sound and well-informed judgment. Their interest can never be separated, and that a dangerous ambition more often lurks behind the specious mask of zeal for the rights of the people
Bad news.
than under the forbidden appearance of zeal for the firmness and efficiency of government.
Go ahead.
History will teach us that the
Not
former
enough
has been
minerals.
found a much more certain road
Not
to the
enough
introduction
minerals.
of despotism than the
In
latter,
the rear.
and that of those men who have overturned the liberties of republics, the greatest number have begun their career by paying an obsequious court to the people, commencing demagogues and ending tyrants.
Not enough minerals.
In the course of the preceding observations, I
Mineral
have had an eye,
unacceptable
my fellow
landing
citizens,
zone.
to putting you upon your guard against all attempts,
Not
from
enough
whatever
minerals.
quarter, to influence your decision in
Not
a manner
enough
of the
minerals.
utmost
Reporting for
moment
action.
to your welfare, by any impressions other than those which may result from the evidence of truth. You will, no doubt,
Not
at
enough
the same time,
minerals.
have collected from the general scope of them,
ready.
that they
Nuclear missile
proceed from a
ready.
source not unfriendly to the new Constitution. Yes, my countrymen, I own to you that, after having given it an attentive consideration, I am clearly of opinion it is your interest to adopt it. I am convinced that this is the safest course for your liberty, your dignity, and your happiness. I affect not reserves which I do not feel. I will not amuse you with an appearance of deliberation when I have decided. I frankly acknowledge to you my convictions, and I will freely lay before you the reasons on which they are founded. The consciousness of good intentions disdains ambiguity. I shall not,
Add-on
however,
complete.
multiply professions on this head. My motives must remain in the depository of my own breast. My arguments
Not
will be
enough
open to all,
minerals.
and may be
Not
judged
enough
of by
minerals.
all.
I can't
They
build
shall
here.
at least be offered in a spirit which will not disgrace the cause of truth.
Not enough minerals.
I propose, in a series of papers, to discuss the following interesting particulars. The utility of the Union
Command
to
center
your political
upgrade
prosperity.
complete.
The insufficiency
Insufficient
of the
vest-
present Confederation to preserve that Union.
Liberation is at hand.
The necessity of a government at least equally energetic with the one proposed to the attainment of this object. The conformity of the proposed Constitution to the true principles of republican government.
Insufficient
The
Vespene
analogy
gas.
to your own state constitution. And lastly, the additional security which its adoption will afford to the preservation of that species of government, to liberty and to
Add-on
property.
All hands to battle
In the
stations.
progress of this discussion, I shall endeavor to
Reporting
give
for
a
action.
satisfactory answer
Insufficient.
to all the objections which shall
Mineral
have made their
field depleted.
appearance, that
Insufficient
may seem to
Vespene
have any
gas.
claim to your attention.
Come on, baby.
It may perhaps be thought superfluous to offer arguments to prove the utility of the Union.
Where's the emergency?
A point, no doubt, deeply engraved in the hearts of the great body of people in every state, and one which it may be imagined has no
Insufficient
adversaries.
Vespene gas.
But the fact
Liberated.
is that we already hear it whispered in the private circles of those who oppose the new Constitution that the 13 states are of too great extent for any
Insufficient
general
Vespene
system.
gas.
and that we must, of necessity, resort to separate confederacies of distinct portions of the planet.
Base our
is under
SCVs are under
The
attack.
same idea, tracing
Insufficient
the arguments to
Vespene
their
gas.
consequences, is held out in several of the later publications against the new Constitution. This doctrine will,
Insufficient
in all
Vespene
probability,
gas.
be gradually propagated
Insufficient
till it has
Vespene
votaries
gas.
enough to countenance
Insufficient
an open
Vespene
Playing
gas.
versus, no, he's a diamond player.
Insufficient
For nothing
Vespene
can be
gas.
more
This is my first
evident
placement
to
match on
those who are
EU.
able to take an enlarged view of the
I wouldn't do
subject
this.
than the
And this is
alternative
ranked.
of an adoption of the new constitution
Mineral
or a
field
dismemberment
depleted.
of the union. It will therefore
Insufficient
be
Vespene
used to
gas.
begin by examining the advantages of
Insufficient
that union,
Vespene gas.
the certain evils and the probable dangers to which every state will be exposed
so
from
close.
its dissolution.
Insufficient Vespene
This
gas.
shall accordingly constitute the subject of my next address.
Solo.
Publius.
You sure about that?
We read you.
End of Federalist number 1.
Go.
Waiting on you.
Give me a sit rep. Nothing. Ghost.
Nuclear missile.
We're returning fire.
This is a LibriVox recording. All
Insufficient
LibriVox
Vespene gas.
recordings are in the public domain. For more information
Insufficient
or to
Vespene
volunteer,
gas.
What's up,
please
Bucharest?
visit
Well played,
Mineral
sir. Well
field
played.
depleted.
It's freaking Independence Day, dude. There is
Nuclear
no
missile
way
ready.
the
I
Federalist
could resist
Papers
trolling today. No way. Just not gonna happen.
Insufficient Vespene gas. Nuclear
concerning
missile
dangers
ready.
from foreign force and
Light flight's here.
My only
the
role when I do
Independent
troll
Journal.
games, my only role is that
Wednesday,
me.
Is-
October 31st, 1787.
that I'm not gonna troll Bronze Leaguers. It has to be ranked. These are my placement matches on
Insufficient
EU on this new
Vespene
account.
gas.
So I'm playing.
Insufficient
When the
Vespene
people
gas.
of America
I'm playing
reflect
Diamond.
Not enough.
that they are now
Insufficient
Diamond Leaguer
to
here.
Vespene
decide a
gas.
question
Not
which,
enough
in its
energy.
consequences,
Now
must
what?
prove one of the most important
Ready
that
for
ever
dust-off.
engaged their
I
attention.
love it. Oh
Insufficient
my goodness, I
Vespene
love it
gas.
so
They're
much.
taking a very comprehensive, as well as a very serious view of it, will be evident.
Out with
Nothing
it.
is more certain than the indispensable necessity of government, and it is
Ghost
equally
report.
undeniable that whenever and however it is instituted, the people must cede to
Insufficient
it some
Vespene
of their
gas.
natural rights in order to vest it with requisite powers. It is well worthy of consideration, therefore, whether it would conduce more to the interest of the people of America
Insufficient
that they
Vespene
should, to all
gas.
general purposes,
Insufficient
be one
Vespene
nation
gas.
under one federal government, or that they should divide themselves into separate confederacies
Ghost
and give to the head of each the same kind of powers which they
Mineral
are
field
advised to place
depleted.
in one national government. It has until lately been received and uncontradicted
SCVs
opinion
are under
that the
attack.
prosperity of the people of America depended on their continuing firmly united.
Nuclear
And the
missile
wishes,
ready.
prayers, and efforts
Copy.
of our best and wisest citizens have been constantly directed to that object.
Upgrade
But
complete.
politicians now appear who insist that this opinion is erroneous,
Insufficient
and that instead
Vespene
of
gas.
looking for safety and happiness in union, we ought to seek it in a division of
Mineral
the states
field
into
depleted.
distinct confederacies or sovereignties.
Solo
However
operative.
extraordinary this new doctrine
Command
may
center
appear,
upgrade.
it nevertheless has its advocates, and certain
Command
characters who
center
were much
upgrade.
opposed to it formerly
Insufficient
are at
Vespene
present
gas.
of the number. Whatever may be the arguments or inducements which have wrought this change in the sentiments and declarations of these gentlemen, it certainly would not be wise in the people at large
Insufficient
to adopt these new political tenets without being fully convinced that they are founded in truth and sound policy.
Insufficient
It
Vespene
has often
gas.
given me pleasure to
Insufficient
observe that
Vespene
independent
gas.
America was not composed of detached and distant territories,
Talk to me.
but that one connected, fertile,
Here's your stuff.
wide-spreading country was the
Mineral
portion
field
of our
depleted.
Western Sons of Liberty. Providence has in a
Insufficient
particular
Vespene
manner
gas.
blessed it with a variety of soils and
Insufficient
productions,
Vespene gas.
and watered it with innumerable streams. which
Insufficient
Dude, the
reflect
nukes have been
common laws of its
fantastic.
inhabitants.
Insufficient
Nukes and
Vespene
libs, baby.
gas.
Succession of navigable waters forms a kind of chain round its borders, as if to bind it
Nuclear
together,
missile ready.
while the most noble rivers in the
Nuclear
world,
missile
running at
ready.
convenient
Gonna get that
distances,
Neo Steel frame
present
so I
them
can
with
put more
highways
ghosts in there.
for the
Where's
easy
the emergency?
communication of friendly
Out.
aids
Now
and
what?
mutual transportation. transportation and exchange of their various commodities.
Command center upgrade
With
complete.
equal pleasure, I have as often taken notice that Providence has been pleased to give this one connected country to one united people. A people descended from the same ancestors.
You're listening to the Federalist Papers, my European friend.
The same religion,
The Federalist Papers, some of the greatest
Insufficient
documents
very similar in their manners and customs,
in history.
and who,
Some of the most
by
important
their joint
documents in
counsels,
history.
arms, and efforts, fighting side by side throughout a long and bloody
Vespine
war,
Geyser
have
exhausted.
nobly established general liberty and independence.
Come again.
This country and this people
Ghost
seem to have been made
reporting.
for each other, and it appears as if it was the design of Providence, that an inheritance so proper and convenient for a band of brethren, united to each other by the
Insufficient
strongest
Vespine
ties,
gas.
should never be split into a number of unsocial, jealous, and
Mineral
arrogant
field
sovereigns.
depleted.
Give me the
Similar
zipper.
sentiments have hitherto
Sound.
prevailed among all orders
Out
and
with it.
denominations of men among us. To all general purposes, we have uniformly been one people, each individual citizen everywhere, enjoying the same national rights, privileges, and protection.
I can't build here.
As a nation, we have made peace
Ghost
and war.
reporting.
As a nation, we have vanquished our common enemy. As a
Solo.
nation, we have formed alliances
Insufficient
and made
Vespine
treaties
nuclear missile.
and entered into
Insufficient
various compacts
Vespine
and
gas.
conventions with foreign
What's
states.
going on?
A strong sense of the value and blessings of union induced the
Insufficient
people
Vespine
at
gas.
a very early period to institute a federal government
Mineral
to preserve
field
and
depleted.
perpetuate it.
You
They
sure about
formed it
this?
almost as soon as they had a political
Nuclear
existence.
missile ready.
Nay, at a time when their habitations
We need
were
more
in
liberators, little more
when many of
liberation
their
up in here, and then we'll be
citizens were
good.
bleeding, and when the
Insufficient
progress of
Vespine gas.
hostility and desolation
Vespine
left little
geyser
room
exhausted.
for those calm,
Insufficient
mature
Vespine
inquiries
gas.
and reflections
Insufficient
which must ever
Vespine gas.
precede the formation of a wise
Insufficient
and well-balanced
Vespine
government.
research complete. Insufficient
It
Vespine
is not to
gas.
be wondered at that a government instituted
Insufficient
in times
Vespine
so
gas.
inauspicious should, on
Getting
experiment,
too
found
hot.
Insufficient
greatly
Ghost
deficient and
reporting.
inadequate to the purpose it was intended
Mineral
to answer.
field depleted. Nuclear
This
missile
intelligent
ready.
people perceived
Mineral
and
field
regretted these
depleted.
defects. Still continuing no less attached to union than enamored of liberty,
You sure about
they
that?
observed the danger which immediately
Insufficient
threatened the
nuclear
former and
missile
more remotely
ready.
the latter. And being
Insufficient
persuaded that
Vespine
ample
gas.
security for both could
Nuclear
only be found in a
insufficient
national
Vespine
government more
gas.
wisely framed, they as with one voice convened the late convention of Philadelphia to take that
Insufficient
important subject
Vespine
under
gas.
consideration. This convention, composed of men
too
who possessed
hot.
the confidence of the people,
Nuclear
and who
insufficient
had become
Vespine
highly
gas.
distinguished by their patriotism,
Insufficient
virtue,
Vespine
wisdom,
gas. Mineral
in times
field
which
depleted.
tried the minds and hearts of men,
Ghost reporting.
undertook the arduous
Nuclear
task.
missile ready.
Ghost reporting.
In the mild season of peace, with minds unoccupied by other
You're on.
subjects, they passed
Yes,
many
sir.
months in cool, uninterrupted,
Insufficient
and daily
Vespine gas.
consultation. And finally,
Solo.
without having been
Insufficient
awed by
Vespine
power
gas.
or influenced by any passions except love for
Mineral
their
field
country,
depleted.
they presented and recommended to the people
getting too
the plan
hot.
produced by their joint
getting
and very
too
unanimous
hot.
council.
Command center upgrade complete.
Admit, for so is the fact, that this plan is only
Nuclear
recommended,
missile
not
ready.
imposed. Yet let it be remembered that
Command
it is
center
neither
upgrade
recommended to
insufficient.
blind approbation, nor to blind reprobation, but to that sedate and candid consideration which the magnitude and importance of the subject demand. Certainly ought to be seen.
Out with it.
But this, as was
Okay.
remarked in the foregoing number of this
Nuclear
paper,
missile.
is more to be wished than expected, than it
Give
may
me the
be
sit rep.
considered in advance.
Command center.
Experience on the former occasion
Liberated, baby.
does not
Happy
lead to
Independence Day.
sanguine such hopes.
We
is
did
not
it.
yet forgotten that well-grounded
Is your snipe
apprehensions
kit? No,
of
actually,
imminent
it
danger
used to be.
induced the people
Now it is not. And what's
to
up,
form the
Gaucher? It's
memorable
great to see you, man.
Congress of 1774.
Some people listen to music too. It is
That
freaking
body
Independence Day,
recommended
so you
certain
bet your
measures to their
ass I am
constituents,
listening to
and
the
the event
Federalist
proved their
Papers.
wisdom.
And to answer your
Yet
question,
it is
Falconet,
fresh in
that
our
is not a
memories
bronze
how
leaguer.
soon
That is
the
a
press
diamond
began to
leaguer.
teem
So
with
what's up
pamphlets and
now?
weekly papers against those very measures. Not only many of the
Nukes
officers of a government
and Liberators.
who obeyed
The
the
Liberator
dictates of
opener
personal
into mass
interest,
nukes.
but others
Is there
from
is there a build
mistaken
more
estimate of
American than that? In
consequences,
fact,
or the undue influence of former attachments, or whose
The
ambition
Murican
aimed
build.
at objects which did not
Happy
correspond with the
4th
public
of
good,
July.
were indefatigable in their
Zerg.
efforts to persuade the
There we
people
go.
to reject the advice of that patriotic Congress.
How many pages does it?
Many
It's really
indeed
freaking
were
long,
deceived
dude.
and deluded,
It's really long.
but the great majority of the people reasoned and decided
I don't know how long.
judiciously.
I don't know how
and
long I'm
happy
gonna be able
they
to have
are
it on
in
in the
reflecting
background.
that they did so.
Honestly, I'm gonna turn it off at some point, but
They
I
considered
had to
that
at
the
least start the
Congress was
stream out
composed of many wise
with
and
the
experienced
Federalist
men,
Papers.
that
But yeah, I
being
used to have
convened
my
from
snipe
different
on
parts
rapid
of the
fire, but
country,
it is no
they
longer on
brought
rapid
with
fire.
them and communicated to each other
It's obviously
a
much
variety
better
of
to fire
useful
quickly with it.
information.
But for me personally, I
That,
felt as though
in the
sometimes I
course
could
of the
be
time
inaccurate
they
with
passed
it.
together in inquiring
I don't know if
into
anybody
and
else has that
discussing
problem,
the
or it
true
was just me being a
interests
scrub.
of their country,
I'm
they
better
must
with
have
ghosts now than I
acquired
was when
very
I had it on
accurate
rapid fire,
knowledge
so
on
maybe I
that
should
head.
switch it back.
That they were individually interested in the public liberty and prosperity, and therefore that it was not less their inclination than their duty to
Help Russia
recommend
escape from
only
food.
such
Yeah,
measures
that was a good
as,
one there.
after the most
Good rest.
mature deliberation, they really thought prudent and advisable. These and
Okay, I'm gonna pause the Federalist Papers. I mean, as much as I love listening to it, kind of difficult to play while I'm listening to it. So, just wanted to expose you Europeans to some great founding documents.